Hello, and welcome to my retirement roadmap. This is the second video in a series on portfolios. And this part here, we're going to talk about the envelopes or buckets for investing and how we do that in retirement. Again, this is specifically for people in or near retirement. And we could basically, we have three envelopes where we put money. And the first one is a liquidity reserve. That's for our basically our current run rate, burn rate, or however we're spending. Just a regular spending. We I recommend that people have between 6 and 12 months. Personally, we have 12 months. So basically, everything's set up so that if we continue to spend as we are now, which is probably more than we should in a lot of ways, but we're in the go-go years, so we kind of give ourselves a little grace there to spend money. But anyway, we do have 12 months set aside. And this is a little bit advanced topic that hopefully we'll get to in later classes. But also, this is right now is in a Roth account. So all the taxes have been paid. So there's 12 months. It's just ready to go. There's no hassle. It's there. It's if we need it, 12 months worth of spending. So that's like the first envelope. The second one is that I recommend is a 5 to 7 year tips ladder. Okay. And we talked about that in a previous class. We talked a lot about tips and building a tips ladder. And that's really meant to protect if the stock market goes down, we've got, 5 to 7 years where we can ride it out and our money is there for our essential spending. Now that does mean, if the stock market goes down, we're probably just naturally going to not spend as much money. We won't be taking those, European cruises and all that sort of stuff. We'll just dial back our spending quite a bit. That just naturally happens. That happens with just about anybody. So anyway, that's the second envelope. The third, that's where all the growth happens. That's where we put money into the stock market. We're going to spend a lot of time in the other videos about talking about those investments. But those are really the three envelopes. And this is very similar to what's called the bucketing approach. And I don't know, I've listened to different versions of bucketing, and I think that they're kind of similar. I use the term envelope just because I love that. I know myself, and I think a lot of people are similar. And they'll put envelopes of cash. Here's this envelope is ready for this expenditure, and here's another envelope for that. That's kind of what I'm saying. Envelope. It's just putting money, set it aside, and they're effectively separated from the way they're spending. So that's what I'm doing. Again, this is similar to a bucketing approach. Another term is time segmentation. Because if you look at these three, we do have that first 12 months, covered, a current burn rate. Then we've got 5 to 7 of essential spending in our tips ladder. So that's another time, a section of time. And then we have the fourth, which is growth. But I do want to kind of explain this. And this is the part that can be a little confusing when we're talking about this approach. Okay? The idea, and I've termed this as the retirement paycheck. When you're paying yourself in retirement and you need to withdraw money to meet your expenses, okay, you always, always, always want to withdraw that from the stock market, okay, your equities. That's where you want that to come from. That's the objective. That's the goal. That's the ideal. However, okay, if the stock market is down, okay, then we have the first and second envelopes to draw upon. And effectively, we've got like 7 years. We're going to have 7 years we can last while the stock market goes down. Now, what does that mean, a significant downturn in the stock market? It depends on a person's risk tolerance, like just how much can you tolerate? And the idea is, I recommend between 5 and 10%. Now, I just checked at the time of this recording this video, and we're getting close to the end of February here. But right now, the stock market is effectively 99% of its all-time high. So it's up there. There's right now, I have no problems with continuing to withdraw money from the stock market to pay expenses for the retirement paycheck. And so I hope that makes sense, because it can be very confusing when we talk about, oh, well, the first bucket's for the next 6 to 12 months. And some people are like, well, that's where I spend money. That's where I withdraw so I can meet my expenses. Not the case at all, okay? It just depends on what's going on with the stock market. We always want to take out of the stock market as long as it is, you know, close to its all-time high. That's the idea here. There are some qualifications to that a little bit that have to do with taxes, but that's beyond the scope of our discussion here. In the next class, we'll be talking more about taxes. For those who are brave and want to talk taxes, that's where we'll kind of address some of that there. I guess what I'm trying to say here is when you're withdrawing money, there might be reasons why, the stock market's up, but you may say, I'm not going to withdraw from the stock market because of some tax issues that I don't want to trigger. That's a case where there might be an exception to how you draw out. But otherwise, you always want to get it out of the stock market. I think that's a good enough discussion here for the envelopes, really buckets and time segmentation of how we put our investment portfolio together. Okay, so now we're going to meet on the next video to talk about investing. Thanks.